I'm about to tell you a story of two silent people living in a beautiful world filled with chaos and noise. One whose silence eats away from within, and who uses their voice to occupy that raw, unfilled space. One whose silence is all too well known by those in her presence, whose voice is almost never heard, but whose mind is thundering with unspoken thoughts. They say the quietest people have the loudest minds. Do these people surround themselves in more silence in order to hear their own thoughts, or do they hide among the noise to fill the quiet? Do loud people use their voices to fill the silence in their head, or do they find comfort in the chaos that fills quiet for them? We live in an incredibly noisy world where different types of silence exist among us. Like concerts where people stand collectively without a word, but music rides the air in between the gaps formed by blissful bodies. Think about sports, where silence sits within the athletes, where all thoughts vacate their minds, but chaos and shouting, whistles and cheers buzz vibrantly around the arena. Think about meditation, where silence coats noisy souls screaming within. So listen to this story, a story about utter silence, and the way that these two people exist in a world defined by different types of absent noise. Once upon a time, there were two girls lost in a world turned into a battleground of sound. While quietness wrestled with her own noise within, loudness poured music and voices into the gap she felt that she tried so desperately to close. Quietness had a mind too wild and monstrous to articulate on her own, so she turned to art to help her translate her unspeakable ideas. "This one," she said. "This painting comments on our humanity. Something so simple and silent says so much about our good and our evil and the balance between the two." "You're crazy," Loudness responded. "It's nothing more than a purple canvas covered by a swatch of black and red." But that's the beauty. Something so simple and misunderstood can hold so much meaning. Rothko wanted people to look at this painting and be engulfed in raw emotion. Simply standing in the presence of this work is supposed to evoke intensity and nothingness. He quite literally wanted to bring his audience to tears. People have broken down in the presence of this work, and that just shows how strongly you can visually communicate basic human emotions. "Whatever you say," Loudness responded, rolling her eyes. "I'll never understand you." "I don't understand you either," Quietness responded. "What do you mean?" "Well, first of all, why do you do that?" "Do what?" "Why do you always migrate towards the room filled with other people? Don't you want to appreciate the art when nobody's around?" "But people are fascinating, Quietness. Why isolate yourself from beautiful minds? You'll never learn anything or get the chance to witness the incredible lives people live." "But don't you want a chance to hear yourself think, to sit with your own thoughts and allow your mind to relate to whatever the artist is trying to say?" "But it's other people that feed my thoughts. I love seeing the way people react to the art. Watch that guy there, the guy in the wheelchair? Yeah, him. You see, he's a self-made millionaire who's made his money through art. Right now he's there looking for inspiration for his new collection. You just made that up. How could you possibly know that, Loudness?" "I don't, but watch the way his gaze wanders and then locks as these color fields erupt into fireworks in his eyes. Think about all the possibilities. There's so much to each individual soul, and I want to learn about them all. You see, Quietness, to me these people are the art. There's no need for silence when everybody has so much to say." "Perhaps you're right, but what's the point when you don't even know what to say yourself? But why search for something from other people when you can spend that time searching for it within yourself? Why depend on other people to feel your happiness? All of that should come from an understanding within." "Well, why don't you try it?" said Quietness. "Just stand here and observe, maybe even talk to somebody. What they have to say just might spark a new understanding of yourself. Treat them the way you would interpret art, and utilize art to understand your place in this world." "All right, Loudness, it's a deal, but I want you to do the same for me. Sit there and be alone in your thoughts." "I will," said Loudness. "You know, everyone's a hurricane. We're all wrapped up and spinning in our own messy lives. It's crazy, painful, and wild, and absolutely imperfect, but the beauty resides in the flaws. People are most inspiring when they make something out of their imperfections, so that's what you should listen for." Maybe you're right about people, but in my mind it's the world that's a hurricane, and we're all just trying to keep our feet on the ground. Perhaps we need to all let go. There's a whole lot of chaos and noise, until we reach the eye of the storm.